YouTube, what is up? Coach Wiz, and we back with another reaction video. Today we got Magic Johnson School's Anthony Edwards on NBA history and NBA eras. Talk to him, Magic. Tired of these young disrespecting the golden eras. Let's go, man. This is by Uncut Hoops, by the way.
Made headlines when he gave his take that players in older generations of NBA didn't have much skill and that Michael Jordan was the only player with skill.
Ain't nobody athletic ever been in the league, and nobody could jump and all this. I'm like, whoa, what are you talking about? Don't attack all the old school guys when you haven't done your homework.
As I'm sure you guys know, when it comes to Anthony Edwards, he's one of the most outspoken, fearless players in the NBA who quite literally say anything. And one of his comments took a lot of NBA fans off guard, was saying past eras like the 90s, 80s, 70s really had no skilled players before Michael Jordan.
Kid, you got a lot to learn.
It really does, because if you actually do your homework, like those players back then were just as tall, just as big, just as fast, could jump as high. Skill-wise, the game has evolved for sure, but like strength, athleticism, speed, no. Now these players nowadays are able to train differently and better in some cases. But if you actually do your research, like that's really not the case. And a lot of those players back then were skilled too. I don't know, Ant. I like you too, but I don't know.
So obviously Ant's comments, they were pretty stupid, not well received. And for one NBA legend, he took a major exception to that. That, of course, being Magic Johnson, the most skilled passer in NBA history.
Oh, this is major. It's like the next big thing.
I mean, you know, we'll say, man. I agree.
He's just gonna go like this, and
got it.
And then this summer, ain't nobody athletic ever been in the league, and nobody could jump and all this. I'm like, whoa, what are you talking about? Don't attack all the old school guys when you haven't done your homework.
So stopping Magic right there very quickly, that phrase, do your homework, is the entire point of this video. When looking at past eras, people know the superstars, the MVPs, the championship players. But a lot of guys beneath those guys maybe didn't win championships, didn't make 10 All-Star games. They're forgotten, overlooked, and really diminished. For example, look at the mid-1980s. Someone like Bernard King in 1985, at that very moment, was a superstar player, marquee player.
Bernard King. Top 5 Nick ever to me. Just saying. He was like Melo before Melo. Straight up.
First team All-NBA guy. As that season, nearly 33 points per game, above 50% shooting, third in PR, and dropped 60 on Christmas. The only player in our current NBA right now averaging 32 points per game on above 50% shooting is, of course, SGA, the eventual MVP. And SGA in our current era, our marquee player.
SGA or Jokic? Who y'all MVP? I got SGA.
Player superstar who's known by everyone. Of course, Bernard King back in the day, the exact same deal. But 30, 35, 40 years later, Bernard King's overall legend, his history, isn't widely known by NBA fans. And that, of course, is a big-time problem for current-day NBA fans. People always say nostalgia this, nostalgia that. That's ruining basketball. And I think there is some merit to those claims in certain cases. But also a big epidemic is recency bias. Nowadays, for the average NBA fan, casual fan, especially the NBA media, they're all prisoners of the moment, stuck in our current year. Today's game is the best, never been better. Today's players are the best. The past eras simply weren't good. When I look at basketball discourse, recency bias has a much bigger hold in the NBA community than something like nostalgia, as of course fans today can be bothered to do basic homework and research about past eras. For example, look at someone like Mark Aguirre. Mark Aguirre back in the mid-'80s
was a
household name marquee player, had a shoe with Converse. Mark Aguirre in the 80s was a big-time deal. Do you think the average fan nowadays who's 25, 30, even 35 years old knows who Mark Aguirre was and how great he was in his era? I'd say the majority of them simply don't. And what does that come down to? Doing your homework.
First of all, there have been athletic guys. First of all, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Kobe. Dr. J.
Oh,
Kobe. Clyde Drexler.
Yeah.
I can keep going.
Yeah, it's a
lot of guys. David Thompson, even before all of them, could walk in the air.
and he just talking about the known guys. Way more others. Also, really quick, I am back training my hoopers out there. You feel me? If you're a young hooper, you playing for college, high school, or you got pro potential and you want to work on your shooting, I got a certified shooter playlist. Tap into it. I will be dropping videos weekly on that. To all my old school NBA reaction gang members. Gang members, I probably shouldn't say that. You know what I mean. Do not be alarmed if you see that content popping up. This channel is still about the reactions. I just want to make sure I'm doing my due diligence and still helping the youth get better. The real way, though. Not the shenanigans you see today. So just wanted to throw that out there. My bad. Let's get back to the video, though.
And so, bruh, you slow down.
When talking about athletic NBA players, freaks of nature, every era in NBA history has athletic players. I mean, look at the 90s. Someone like Shaq in Orlando, an absolute physical specimen who 25 years later, it's hard to find a comp for. Someone like Sean Kemp, the dunks he was throwing down back then, even for today's players, it's a pretty high bar. And one guy both Magic and Byron Scott didn't name, who should have been named, was, of course, Dominique Wilkins. As Dominique in the mid-'80s, early 1990s, and this dude had the vertical, the speed, the hang time, the power, the ferocity, had the whole package as an athlete, and a great dunker.
Most homeowners have it somewhere in their house. It's that one.
Yo, I am thinking about dropping a Sean Kemp video. You know what I'm saying? Just because he from the, he from the town. He from the town. We from the same place. So definitely want to do a video on him probably next, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
He was special.
Now, for a lot of NBA fans nowadays knowing Dominique Wilkins, what they know him as is only a dunker. It's a blessing, but also a curse. As looking at Nick, the player, one of the best players
Nick
in the
was
league,
a bucket.
overshadowed by someone like a Larry Bird. As looking at Nick at his absolute apex, 5 separate years averaging above 28 points per game, including 2 years averaging 30, with 1 scoring title in 1986. If Dominique played in the modern NBA, the dunks he'd have nowadays with the pace and space, the fast break game, he'd break social media on a weekly basis. And of course, looking at our current NBA, yes, phenomenal athletes who get labeled as freaks, unicorns, and one-in-a-million type players. Case in point, someone like Victor in San Antonio. Now, Victor, of course, is an alien, a specimen. He's almost a one-on-one talent. And I say almost. As again, looking at the 80s, someone like Ralph Sampson, 7'4", could do Victor-type things 40 years ago. My entire point of this video is pretty simple. Someone like Victor today is a household name, a marquee player, known by everyone. Ralph Sampson in the 80s, the exact same thing. But give it 30, 40 years time, you don't do your homework. Ralph Sampson becomes forgotten. He's a myth. You don't know who he is. Just because you don't know doesn't mean it didn't exist, didn't happen, and players back in the day weren't skilled, talented, or extremely athletic.
So I had to just hit him. Like, look, man, talk to me when you want something.
Show respect. That's all. Just show respect.
Shout out to Magic. See, there's this narrative that the old school is the problem. But really it's not. It's the new school that keeps hating on the old school, and the old school just got to defend themselves. Because Magic could have really wilded out on them. He could have. You know how many rings I got? You know who I am? But instead, he was like, yo, just hit me up. Shout out to Magic. Great response.
I don't want to ever go at nobody.
Right.
That's not who I am.
Right.
But if you're going to attack us like, oh, the game was not high flying and as exciting and so on, then I got to come back. So, but I'm still a fan.
Yeah,
and I still watch him.
So stopping Magic right there, I'm in the exact same boat. Ant's comments in the moment were stupid, uneducated, just not smart comments. But ain't the player's game on the court, I still love it. That right there for Magic is a perfect response to younger fans and younger players disrespecting past eras. And when speaking of the best NBA era, we can debate this all day long. But look at the mid-'80s, the talent era was pretty significant. Look at 1985, the Western Conference All-Stars. Starting at point guard, you have Magic, the best passer of all time, the greatest point guard. At power forward, Ralph Sampson, Wemby 1.0, George Gervin, basically KD 1.0, one of the smoothest scorers of all time. Kareem in his late 30s, the GOAT center, a top 5 player all time. At shooting guard, Adrian Dantley was kind of forgotten, underrated. For 4 straight years, averaged 30 points per game. I mean, that right there is a stacked lineup with Hall of Fame talent, all-time great talent that rivals today's best players. And to hammer this home even further, talking about skilled players, athletic players, look at the Eastern Conference. Starting small forward, Larry Bird, the inventor.
Look at this. Oh my God. That is disgusting.
Of the 50-40-90 club. Isaiah Thomas, a top 5 point guard who had handles when they'd call carrying, call traveling on elite point guards. Someone like Dr. J, yes, he was older, but athletically, still dunk from the free throw line. And of course, his teammate Moses Malone, a 3-time MVP, and Michael Jordan, of course, the greatest player of all time. Looking at that year's All-Star game right there, you have a total of 24 MVPs and 6 of the 15 greatest players in league history. That being Bird, Dr. J, Jordan, Moses, Kareem, Magic, and Hakeem Olajuwon. If you think this era wasn't skilled, wasn't talented, except for Michael Jordan, I just got to tell you, you haven't done your homework, done your research. So that right there is the end of the video, and the bottom line is pretty simple. Every era has talent, has skill, great athletes, shooters, dribblers, guys who can do it all. The only problem is certain fans nowadays only look at this era of the 2010s or the 2000s. Basketball has existed for nearly 80 years. You might not like every era, think every era is the best. That's fine. But every era had talent, had skill, had something to offer. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.
Shout out to Uncut Hoops, man. He's right 100%, man. 100%. We got to stop this. We got to stop this. Let me know what y'all want to see next, man. Drop down your favorite old school players or some stories y'all want me to react to. I really appreciate y'all supporting the channel. If you want a t-shirt or hoodie to support the channel, drop that in the comments too, man. I love y'all. I'm Coach Wiz.